7 years ago, I found myself stuck in a job I hated. I had been working so hard to climb the corporate ladder and chase the next promotion that I was pushing myself beyond my limits. At the time, I thought early retirement was my only escape. But even though my husband and I had been doing most things right for a decade, we were still 10 years away from that goal. Then I discovered a different way out. One that didn't involve early retirement. Over the past 7 years, my eyes have opened to the possibilities available to professionals stuck in jobs they hate. If you're feeling trapped in your job, this video is for you. I'll share my story, including the day my life turned upside down, the key lessons I learned from that experience, and practical steps you can take to break free from your job. Let me tell you about the day my life changed forever. On July 12th, 2018, my entire life turned upside down. At 3 a.m., I experienced one of the scariest moments of my life, a 3-hour panic attack. I was sobbing uncontrollably, struggling to breathe, with my face tingling as if I might pass out, and I felt completely helpless. In that moment, I had a stark realization. I can't keep living like this. Something needs to change. The sad reality is that this could have been avoided, but I had been so focused on increasing my income and reaching financial independence that I'd pushed myself too far. Looking back, I did this to myself for 2 main reasons that perhaps you can relate to. First, I didn't know there were other options. And second, fear. This fear stemmed from my struggles after college graduation. My husband and I barely scraped by in a cockroach-infested apartment while I earned a $12,000 annual AmeriCorps stipend. Money stress consumed our thoughts. Even a $1 Redbox movie rental felt like a luxury. That experience made me determined to never struggle like this again. So I hustled, I climbed the career ladder, and eventually hit 6 figures. By July of 2018, I had achieved everything I set out to do, but I was burned out and miserable. So much so that I had to take a 6-month medical leave. During that leave, I started exploring how people were using financial freedom to improve their lives now, not just after reaching financial independence. And I had a massive realization. I already had more freedom than I realized. I slowly came to understand that I wasn't as stuck in my job as I had believed. 3 key lessons helped me make the decision to leave that toxic job and chart a new course. These lessons launched me on a 5-year journey where I would start working part-time, launch a side hustle, eventually go full-time with that business, and grow the business until my husband could join me, which now allows us to travel for months at a time in our converted camper van. This is our story. Yours will look different based on what's important to you. But I believe these lessons will apply to your situation if you feel stuck in a job or want more freedom today. The first lesson is that financial freedom is not all or nothing. I like to think of financial freedom as a spectrum. As you progress on your wealth building journey, your freedom increases. It's not like a light switch where you go from having no freedom to full freedom. There are no true finish lines where your life changes once you cross an arbitrary milestone. Instead, as you progress on your journey, you gain more and more freedom. I like to think of it as 5 distinct stages, with each one unlocking new options and freedoms. We cover the 5 stages in more detail in this other video, so I won't cover them here. But if you'd like to learn more about these stages, I'll include a link in the description below so you can watch that video after this one. The second lesson I learned is the power of CoastFi, or Coast Financial Independence. CoastFi is when you've already saved enough that you no longer need to invest another dollar to reach financial independence. Compound interest will handle the rest. Just as work becomes optional at financial independence, savings becomes optional at Coast-Fi. I discovered Coast-Fi during my 6-month medical leave when I was experiencing severe anxiety and panic attacks. Curious about my situation, I ran the numbers. At age 31, we planned to retire at 60 and spend about $70,000 per year in retirement. With a 4% safe withdrawal rate, our target investment balance was $1.75 million, which was 25 times our expected annual expenses. When we used the Coast-Fi calculator, we learned that our Coast-Fi number was $245,985. This amount, if left untouched, would grow to our $1.75 million target by our planned retirement age. I was stunned, not just because the number seemed surprisingly low, but because we had already surpassed it. We had reached Coast-Fi. This revelation was powerful because it gave me permission to imagine a different life. I realized I likely would never need to work full-time again since savings was now optional. We just needed to generate enough income to cover our expenses, which we likely could do without full-time work. Part-time work was just the beginning of my journey, but for someone stuck in a toxic job like I was, it opened my eyes to so many new possibilities. The third lesson I learned is that knowing your numbers helps you make intentional decisions. When we're uncertain about our finances, it creates unnecessary stress. Getting clarity about the life we want and understanding our numbers allowed us to assess trade-offs and make decisions confidently. Understanding our Coast-Fi status allowed us to buy our camper van, feel confident when my husband Corey quit his job. But Coast-Fi wasn't the only thing that helped us gain confidence and take action. Running different scenarios has reduced our money stress when scarcity mindset creeps in. We've learned to step back, input our numbers into the calculators, and explore various possibilities. For example, we often ask, if we never saved another dollar, when would we reach full financial independence? Or if we couldn't cover our expenses and needed to start withdrawing from our taxable account, how would this impact our FI timeline? In one scenario, we calculated what would happen if we only covered 50% of our expenses with business income, and we discovered that we'd still reach FI within 5 years. This insight helped reduce our self-imposed pressure to maximize business profits, allowing us to focus on building an enjoyable and impactful business instead. As I mentioned earlier, I realized I had more freedom than I initially understood. I believe the same is true for you. If you're watching this video, you likely have more freedom than you realize. I've witnessed this countless times in our programs, whether in my group coaching program, our Coast with Confidence cohort, or our in-person retreats. People consistently discover that they have more freedom than they thought possible. And once you acknowledge this freedom, new possibilities begin to emerge. Now let's explore 3 practical steps you can take today. First, calculate your Coast-Fi number. We've created a free calculator that you can access on our website, and I'll also include a link in the description below. Second, take time to consider what you truly want out of life. Through my experience coaching over 20 different cohorts in my program, I know this isn't easy, but there are concrete steps to discover what brings you joy and build a life you love. I cover these steps in detail in the live stream above, and you'll find the link in the description. Third, explore different scenarios for your future. Think of it like solving a puzzle. If I make this change, what could happen? Let each possibility lead you to new ideas. Often our best insights emerge when we build upon existing thoughts, so give yourself permission to brainstorm freely. If you're having trouble imagining new possibilities, which is completely normal, check out our video breaking down the 4 options available after reaching Coast-Fi. This will help you better understand your choices. Thanks so much for watching and enjoy the journey.